As a child, I very often felt awkward and out of place. I did not feel like I fit in with many of my peers in class and at home within the family. Oftentimes, I felt as if I wasn't keeping up enough with the current trends or what was in style. And I also did not participate in many of the events or activities that a majority in my community did. Now, I do want us to imagine as a child what that must have been like. Feeling left out or a sense that we didn't belong in any situation could result in some negative feelings, as well as a loss of who we are. Um, the day-to-day interactions were pretty transactional, but there wasn't a lot of emotion or joy or comfort within that. There was also a sense of not being able to contribute. Now, I knew that something had to change. I knew that I did belong somewhere, I just didn't know where. But as I was going through my day to day, I would make choices pretty random, uh, without little thought, in hopes that eventually I would find my place. Thankfully, one of those choices was to change the instrument in which I played. Middle school years were probably the hardest, and prior to that, I had played the trumpet for about 2 years. One day, I decided that I wanted to learn how to play the flute. I can't really recall any particular reason why, it was just something that I wanted. So I made the choice that it was going to happen, and I joined our band class, which also was an orchestra, and I learned how to play. Within the first year, I began to feel a sense of happiness, of belonging. I really enjoyed my time in that class. It was a completely different feeling that I had through any other time. By the second year, I came to the realization that not only had I found the place in which I belonged, but I did have a satisfaction with myself. I understood that I did contribute, and I also understood that my differences did not prohibit me from having any of that. That in any situation, despite any awkwardness, that I did have a place. I did fit in, and my differences helped with that. Now, while playing, what I realized, what I had learned from my experience, is that my part, even though it may have been small, contributed to the bigger picture. Playing the flute, I was one about a handful of other students that also played the flute. So we would play similar music and notes to each other, as well as the timing. And my part in that was that each player added strength for the other flutes. So together we became stronger. Together, we joined with other instruments that were much different than ours, different music, maybe even different timing. But by working together, our differences allowed us to create a bigger composition of music that would not have been possible if it weren't for being different. Now, this is a great realization and a great learning experience, but it wouldn't mean anything if I wasn't able to apply it outside of the band room. So, my comparisons, my thoughts is that if my small role in playing an instrument can create an end result of beautiful music because I was different than the other instruments, then why can't it be applied elsewhere? So when I am in those situations where maybe I feel awkward, I'm in a meeting or a classroom and I feel like I'm not fitting in, I can realize that my differences do play a role. I do realize that what I bring to the table helps and contributes to the classroom. It helps and contributes in the workplace. It brings new ideas that maybe others did not have, or it's a different viewpoint that wasn't considered. Playing the flute and being different from others helps me apply that to my other possibly awkward experiences. And for that, I do believe that having our differences and being able to apply them, playing the flute, and being able to join with others who are different than us helps us to learn the greater role that we play in other activities that we may participate in.